The Soshanguve father has been sentenced to 2 life terms plus 10 years in prison. He tried to kill his 3 children by lacing Viennas and Russians with poison. 2 of them, aged 8 and 11, survived, but unfortunately his 2-year-old son passed away. He was sentenced to life for the murder plus 10 years for attempted murders. He also received a life sentence for raping their mother. Our reporter Heidi Giokos joins us now with the very latest. Good afternoon, Heidi. Quite a harsh sentence today.
Yes, certainly. And I must say, Mfundo, that this story is really tragic. And I think it really just paints the reality of many women and children in this country. Recently we've been seeing really horrific cases when it comes to women and children. And I think the judge really making a point to say that this is unacceptable. I just want to quickly go back to what this matter is about. In 2019, Mr. X, and I must just add that the reason why we are not naming the accused is because 2 children have survived, as well as the mother, and we are, of course, trying to protect their identity. But back in 2019, Mr. X was no longer together with his partner. They have 3 children together, 3 boys. He broke into her house in early 2019. He raped her. 8 months later, he decided to fetch their 3 boys, 2 years old, 8 and 11 years old, and he took them to his house. He fed them food that was laced with poison. Unfortunately, the 2-year-old passed away. The 8 and 11-year-old survived. He then tried to commit suicide after, but he was arrested on the same day that he committed these crimes, and he has been sentenced. He's received 2 life sentences. The one is for the murder of his 2-year-old. The second life sentence is for raping his former partner and the mother of their children. And he's also received 31 years, an extra 31 years for contravening the Domestic Violence Act and contravening the protection order, as well as a number of other counts. But let's listen to that judgment from earlier today.
Despite the protection order in place, the accused kept on assaulting Ms. Muthala, threatening her life, and eventually raping and killing a 12-year-old child. A 2-year-old child, I'm sorry.
I'm protection order. When I'm a protection order.
It is so unfortunate that despite the repeated case dockets and reporting accused to the police for contravention of the protection order, Ms. Muthala could not get any assistance from the police or having accused arrested for such contraventions. The protection order was a powerful weapon formed against abuse, but looking at the manner people are dying or further being abused while protection orders are in place shows that somewhere else the system is failing the abused and most vulnerable people in our society.
Now, Heidi, take us through some of the salient points of that judgment.
Yes, I think what was really crucial, and I think this judge was scathing and did not hold back, given how serious and horrific this crime actually was and took place. The judge making it very clear that this should not be happening. He spoke about the alarming rates of gender-based violence, the realities of many women and children in this country, how women and children are constantly murdered and assaulted by men in this country. And the judge saying that this is unacceptable. He says that this judgment is, of course, not going to bring back any life that was lost because of this act or any other act. And he says that he hopes that this kind of judgment will set a precedent and also detract anybody else who even thinks about doing this. And I think what was really telling was that he gave a second life sentence to Mr. X for raping the mother. And we don't often see that in Mfundo. Normally you'll see 15 years or 20 years. But this time around he said that that was already a sign that there was probably more horrific acts to come, because he did it. He killed the 2-year-old and attempted to kill the 8 and 11-year-old 8 months after he had raped her. So really tragic. And I think the judge just trying to make a point to say this needs to stop, and this sentencing must set a precedent for anybody else who wants to or even thinks about doing this.